Hi everyone, I've been asked if I could do a picture from, excuse me, Microscopic Marvels by Jennifer Delaney. This is quite an unusual book with sort of microscopic items to colour in it, but I sort of find them rather fun. They're either quite plant-like, like this one I've chosen, or they're sort of more sort of mandala-like. So they can be something a little bit different to colour. I picked this double page. It's quite a lot here to do, but I'm just going to do a little bit of it. I'm not going to do the whole page because it's like this. These two are the same. They're just reversed, and these are quite similar. So I thought I would just do a bit of this one or all of this one. Now these book has page numbers, and in the back it tells you what the items actually are. This is a diatom, I think it's called, and it's from Grows on Coral. So although my son tells me these bits are the diatom and this is the coral, but I'm not entirely sure. I really have no idea, but I'm not really worried about what it is. I'm just going to have a go at using some fun colours, I thought. So I'm going to start with the sort of stemmy parts. I'm sort of thinking of it like a plant, and I'm going to use some purples and pinks, I think. I've got my Arteza Expert pencils. I'm just pondering colours. I'm going to start with this amethyst purple. It's really, really pretty. And I'm going to use it on the edge of the stems. Now, if you don't have this book, I'm sure it's not one of the it's not by one of the most popular authors, although I know quite a few people do have it. You could use this technique to colour a flower or plant. Now, colouring a stem in purple might not be something that you're comfortable with, but you could, if you're doing this, say it's quite tree-like, you could just use a brown for this, you know, a dark brown, and then the central parts where I'm changed colour, you could just use a lighter brown. So you could just follow the technique. I rather like making it darker on the edge and lighter towards the centre, just to give it a bit of shape. I feel that this could be more rounded in shape. It's not, I wouldn't be flat. So we can try and just do that with some colour, but also just make it look pretty. Some of the items in the book don't look particularly pretty, and they're not. Some of them are viruses and things like that, which isn't particularly nice, but I try and make them look bright and colourful. I'm just going to put you a bit more in the centre, actually. There we go. Sorry for my scrappy bit of paper. I always put a piece of paper behind the page to just make sure there's no colour transfer on the page behind. It does happen. I still get it a little bit because, you know, if you've got pastel or pen a few pages away. But now I'm just trying to work out what this is. I think this part here, whoops, is stem. Like that. I think this bit is. So we'll do this bit. There we go. That's it, and then a bit here. I was just thinking again about, now that is like the edge, so we'll put a bit there like that, I think, but we'll sort of ignore that bit for now. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with that. Now I'm going to use a sort of, yeah, I'm going to use this lilac colour. I'm going to go right over what I've done. Now it might fade it down a little bit, but it doesn't matter because I can always go back over with the purple afterwards. Yeah, I was thinking, I'm getting a bit sort of anxious. My sister was saying, why you're anxious about your boys' exam results coming up? And I'm like, well, they've got their place at uni. I do always feel this, you know, we've had big results before. I always feel like I just really want them to be rewarded for their hard work, and I get a bit anxious that they might not be, rather than it being like they need particular marks. They actually don't, you know, they've already got their places at uni. But you know what I mean? You feel like you want they've worked hard. But anyway, and it's not just that, it's that in 2 weeks' time they would have had their results. They would have had their you know, and their 18th birthday's coming up as well, so they'll be adults. And it's like, oh, just transition of time. And today I've been telling them they need to get reading up, ready to take their learning. Just trying to work out, I think that there could do with a bit of purple actually. Reading up, getting ready for their driving theory test and all this sort of thing. And it's like, it's just time is passing. My babies are growing up and it's all a bit, you know, all the change. It's, you know, but anyway. There we go. Now the very centre I'd quite like to do in a pink. What have we got? I think that's the best one that's going to match the best. This is the flamingo pink. I think it might... hang on. No, that's darker than the lilac. That's no good. Hang on a minute. Sorry. I think actually this one might be... That's a bit salmony. That's no good. One more choice, or else we might just stick with the lilac. No, that's too bright. No, we're not going to do it. We're going to just stick with the lilac and actually take it right to the middle. Sorry about that. So I'm going to put a light layer all the way down. I don't want any white paper. Well, I mean, there will be white paper because it's hard to cover all the paper. But there we go. And now I'm going to come back in with my amethyst purple and just work that purple layer again, just trying to fade it really neatly into the pink. It's not the easiest of things to do, but I find it quite fun and relaxing to do. And I will do all of the stems across the whole of this page in exactly the same way, so I'm not going to show you them all. It's just, and you can do it with any colours. You want some colours that will blend into each other quite well. You wouldn't want to use red and green, for example, but you know, you could use shades of brown and orange, or orange and yellow, red and orange together. Different shades of green, you know, a dark and a light, that sort of thing. A dark pink and a light pink. You know, there's just colours that work, and if you're not sure if it's going to work, just try it out on a piece of paper first. You know, that's the best way. It doesn't take very long just to scribble a couple of colours down, and it can make a big difference. Okay, now it's not even and flat. I'm quite liking that because I'm thinking this is quite a natural item. It's not going to be perfect, but what I do want is just a little bit of more darkness on the edges, and I don't have a darker purple. I have some dark blues or blacks or greys, and I'm just trying to choose which might work. I think the indigo might be the way to go, so that's what I'm going to do. Except I'm going to sneeze. Hold on a minute. Oh, that's better. Yeah, indigo. So I'm just going to go right on the edge and just a tiny bit in, just so it blends in, but it gives us a really dark defined edge. I think it just finishes it off really nicely. Gently blending. If it looks too different, you can always go back over it with your dark purple, whatever you've chosen, your darkest colour. So as I say, you could do this with a black. It depends what colour you're using. If I was using like oranges or yellows, I would use a brown. If I was using pinks, I might use a grey. It's going to depend. Again, you can try it on your scrap paper, see what works the best. I think it just finishes off the edge, and it's not going to be the only bit I do with this colour either, so I'm just going to do around there as well. Now the lines that are on here, I'm going to go over with these as well. just quite a simple thing. I had been considering doing that bit with a glitter pen, but I don't think it's going to tone in better if it matches this colour. Just let your arm follow the line. It might take a bit of practice to get it on the line. I'm not very good at doing it really. I'm concentrating as hard as I can. It's a bit wibbly, but you know, you can only do your best, or just enjoy it. We don't always do our best all the time. It's not really something we're always capable of. Yesterday, oh my goodness, I had very little sleep in the night, and I couldn't really function, so I just coloured 3 pictures and hopped out for a little walk, and that's all I did. Okay, that's how I'm going to leave it. That's my stem, but whoops. We now have the top part, and what I'm going to do is do a contrasting colour. Now purple and pink, I think if you use oranges and yellows it makes it really pop, so that's what I'm going to do. We've got a blood orange, I think, in this set, yeah, which is a really dark orange, look very reddish. I'm going to use that. It's going to look quite, I'm still tired, obviously. I picked up my remote control instead of my pencil sharpener. I can't sharpen my pencil with that. Oh dear. So blood orange, and what I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to fade it out. So I'm going to make it darker here and lighter to the edge. I'm going to ignore all of these markings to start with because I want them to be darker. So I'm going to put the blood orange here and then start to fade it almost right away, like that, out to nothing. Okay, and do the same on all of them, nice, and I find it nice and relaxing when you're just doing the same thing over and over. I'm not going to put any on that one because that bit would be maybe just a bit there, because it will be obscured and by this piece. So like here, we're only putting it on this side at the moment because this piece is blocking. But what I do, I find it easier if I do it all here, and then I can sort of copy how much needs to go down on this bit. Obviously that bit there needs to be a little bit darker. There we go. And this one, I'm not going to do those at the bottom. We'll just get this sort of full piece done. Okay. Now there are gaps between this bit and the stemmy bit, but I'm going to ignore them. I'm just going to colour it all in. I think it'll look more finished if there's colour everywhere. So just fading again. I'm doing it in a bit of a scruffy way. Haphazard. Let's get a dark bit down all the way along the bottom first. There we go. We can start to fade it out. It's quite an awkward angle, this. I'm going to have to put my hand on top of it, I think. So I've just realised my lamp isn't on, so I might, if I put it on, I think the shadow might be better. There'll be less shadow, I think, when my hand's above. Now here I need to make sure the colour transitions nicely so we don't got a bit of a line there. I'm just trying to colour out. Okay, so that's our blood orange. Then we want our next darkest orange, if that makes any sense. And I think it is the orange. It's quite a jump, but it's quite a lot paler. I'm going to sharpen it again. And I'm going to go over what I've done and then just extend it. Now a little tip, I started with this one and now I'm starting with this one again. I find the one that I start on every time looks neater than the rest. So what I do tend to do, which I'm going to do now, is not always start on the same one. In fact, start on the one you finished on last time, and then it might look neater. I don't know whether it's just me. I think I sort of run out of oomph when I've done it a few times. So the first ones look better. But it might not be the same for you. As my boys say, it might be a me problem. Mum, that's just a you problem. It sounds really rude. I don't know where they get it from. I'm sure it's the internet. I don't think they mean it in as rude a way as it sounds. I hope not anyway. Now you can see the colour contrast is huge, and that's what I thought was rather fun. And I was tempted to look it up and see what colour it was, but no, I just thought I'm just going to do my way. You can look them up. Well, often they're see-through anyway when I've looked some of these up, or they're even just completely clear. You know, no colour. It's like, well, that's not much help, is it? We'll just do it our colour. I guess I need to say as a disclaimer, I was sent this book as a freebie. Jennifer asked me to do a flip through of it. It was quite a while ago. I don't know when it came out, to be honest. I'm not going to go to the pumpkin orange, which is our next sort of colour. I'm actually going to go to a yellowy orange, which is the Tuscan Sun. Yes, so she sent me the book as a gift. I'm going to start here this time. I'm going to mix it up a bit. Put our Tuscan Sun on top. Just finish off that one. Yeah, I'm very lucky that I get sent books, but I guess it's just because people think of me as an influencer, because I've got a channel with a fair amount of followers, which is nice. So I'm very lucky to get sent things. It means I've got rather a lot of books. I think I've probably got 100 or so. But I don't really buy them very often because I'm lucky enough not to need to. But it is, you know, in a way I feel like I should be supporting the artists myself, but on the other hand it's a sort of thank you for doing it, I guess, and hopefully they do get some sales out of it, which is nice for them. So I'm sort of an advert, I guess. I've got another one, a newish one coming, which I may have to put, I may put a video up before this one goes out to do a flip through. I usually, when someone sends me a new book or download or pencils or whatever it might be, I try and do the video get the video out quite quickly. But if I'm in the middle of a series, I can't do that. And that's pretty much why I tend to do my longer series, not have two long series running together, because it means I can't slot things in very easily. But yeah, it usually works out okay. Just tidying this one up a bit, it's a little bit messy. Now if you want it to be much more intense, you can really you can use a blending pencil or just keep adding. I mean, on top of this you could use a third yellow. Actually, I might do that. I might grab another yellow and just blend it all together. Perhaps we'll do that just to show you. But we could finish this one first. So you might be happy with this layer, or you might want to just add a final one to help blend it. You all use a blending pencil. Now I'm not sure what blending pencils work best with Arteza Expert pencils. I can't say as I've can recall trying any. I do usually find the Prisma pencil, the Prisma blender usually works best for everything, but it is very good. So sometimes in your book it will blend the black print into your picture, so you have to be a little bit careful. So I tend to be wary with that one. I'm just going to sharpen this pencil. Yeah, be a bit wary if you you might want to try it. What a good place to try is at the back of your book, where you've got usually at the back there might be like this sort of thing, or this has got a list of the names of the plants there, the item. You could just do it a bit on there, see if it smudges it before you try it on an actual picture page, you know, or at the front, maybe on the copyright page. But I think I prefer to make my mistakes at the back. I think that's why most books have their colour test pages at the back, not at the front, because it's not very nice. I have got one with one at the front, and I think, is it really very nice to you know, do your completed book flip through, or be looking through the book yourself when you finished it, and the first thing you see is a load of scribbly tests and things? I think, no, I prefer it to be at the back. Now when I finish this page, I've decided I'm going to do a pastel background, just because I can, of probably yellow with a sort of orangey, yellowy orange background, probably a bit paler than the plant, obviously. Well, not, why is it obvious? It's not obvious, sorry. A bit paler than the plant. Probably do mainly yellow. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll take not my palest yellow because it's lemony, but my palest warm yellow pastel, do across the whole page, and then obviously once I finished, again not obviously, once I finished all the pencil work and the other, and then in the corners make it a little bit darker with some orangey colours, which I quite like doing that effect, and then right in the corner I might do a bit of purple. Ooh, that'd be different, wouldn't it? Now I think this is a rather nice yellow. This is the sunflower yellow. It's still a slightly orangey tone of yellow, and I think if I put this on top of everything, it will just bring it all together, finish it off, look, and it really makes it very vibrant, which I think is really good. Now another touch you might want to do is to put some shadows in. So where the plant, not plant, whatever it is overlapping, you might want to put some shadows in here and there, but I'm not going to do that. I think it sits quite well without that. But sort of in here or in there or under there, you could just use a grey maybe, or a black, to put some shadowing in. I'm pressing quite hard, as you can probably hear. I think for the final layer that's okay. You don't want to do that too much to start with, because you could end up burnishing it down too much, and then you can't put any more layers on top. Now I know we haven't done these circle bits yet, but I'm going to do those in pen, so it doesn't matter. Pen will adhere to the pencil anyway. You don't need to worry about burnishing when it comes to pen. Of course you could do this page in pen. This book is, the pens don't show through, they ghost a bit, you know, so if you hold the page up you can see through it, the pen through the other side a little bit, but it doesn't leak through, bleed through. Well, an alcohol marker would, but not a gel pens don't. It's always, you should always test pens, whatever type you're using. There's always a risk with different papers, and of course if I say it works okay in my copy of the book, it doesn't mean it will in yours, partly because of how heavy-handed you might be compared to me, but also different books printed in different countries have different paper, so that makes a big difference. And also you might even find a different print run might have a slightly different paper, so you just can't trust it. Even if the book was, you know, if we've both got the first edition, UK edition of the book, whatever, you still need to just test it yourself just to be sure. There we go. I think it's rather pretty. Now, these circly bits. Now, I was thinking of doing pencil. I'm still wondering whether to do a pencil, because I don't think I've burnished it so much that it won't work. So I'm gonna do, I want a sort of orangey red, I think. What's that? I'm just looking at what I've got. I haven't really got one. I think I'm going to use the crimson red and just do each of these. But I'm going to try to put it a bit darker here and less here. Now, my original idea was to fill these in with some metallic, with some metallic pen. But to be honest, I don't think it would have looked that good compared to pencil somehow. I mean, you could fill it in with a normal pen, you know, just a water-based marker. But I just felt like I wanted to shape them a little bit. And this takes longer than a pen. But yeah. It's I think it's worth it. So what I'm trying to do is just go a bit darker around the edge and then less layers towards the centre. In the very centre there isn't actually any red at all. It's just the colour of the original plant. It's not a plant. Whatever it is. There we go. Got a series to start recording in a bit. This is just, I've just got a little gap where I need one video, so this is this one. Someone asked me to do one from this book, so that's what I'm doing. But I've got a morning series to film to go after the Lulu Mayo one. I've got it all planned out, which is nice. I'm just, because it's quite early morning, my husband's getting ready to leave for work. Well, he'll probably leave in about 10 minutes or so. So I told him to knock on the door if he's about to leave so I can say goodbye to him. And I'll just stop the video. But probably be done by then. Anyway, yeah, I've got a recorder series to follow the Lulu Mayo. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but it's something that I've been asked to do. So I've had a few different requests for videos, so I'm trying to do those. It's sometimes useful to give me ideas, although sometimes like I just want to do what I feel like doing, if that makes sense. But other times I'm happy to do requests. It's nice to, if I'm sort of thinking, what on earth should I do today? Then having a list to look at, go, I'll do that one. So it depends on my mood. Sometimes I'm like, right, I want to colour this today, and I'm going to do it on video. Other days I'm scratching my head a bit, thinking, yeah, you know, I always have a colouring piece on the go. I say always, like last night I finished one before going to bed, you know, but as well as what I'm recording, so there's always something going on in the background. This morning I started a piece from City Among the Stars. It could have been a video, I guess, but a lot of the pictures that I do that aren't recorded are ones that I don't naturally feel like they would make a good video somehow. I feel like I perhaps not experienced enough to teach it, or or it's just a bit too big or detailed, or it's from a book that people don't have, that sort of thing, or it's too simple. There's all sorts of reasonings, or it's just one I want to do on my own. No offence, sometimes I just want to tackle it on my own, or it's a buddy colour. There's those as well, where you know, sometimes I've done a buddy colour as a video, but most of the time the buddy that I colour with most of the time, Michelle, she likes me to do them not on video, and that's fine with me. I don't mind at all, because I've got so many different options to do that it's fine. We've been doing a lot of mandalas lately anyway, and I don't tend to do many of those on video. I think because they're quite similar, sometimes if I've got a new idea I can share it with you, but sometimes I'm thinking I don't really know what to show you that's a bit different. And for me, a mandala is often one I pick up when I'm tired, and or I want to just use a colour palette or something. We're getting there. Now I'm going to finish this page entirely and take a photo for you, and I'm hoping that I would have done it in time to use it as the thumbnail for the video, because it's not taking me that long to do. And usually once I've done one part of a page, because I'm not thinking of colours all the time, choosing colours because I've already done that, it tends to be quicker the next time round. So I think this page probably take me an hour or so to finish. How long have I been doing this for? Yeah, if that, to be honest. Especially, I can turn the book round a bit, sometimes it's a bit more helpful. This angle that I'm colouring at now feels a bit sore on my hand, so but I don't like to turn the book round on video, because I think it can be a bit disconcerting. It is for me when I'm watching one. So there we go, we finished now. So there we go, there it's our plant. So that's how I'm going to continue for the rest of the page. I've told you what I'm going to do for the background with some pastels. So that's that. So yes, that's my very strange, weird and wonderful plant, which you could use as a tree if you wanted something a bit different and wacky. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a really super day, and happy colouring.